All right. So, hello everyone. Welcome to Build with AI on Google Cloud online study sessions. Today is session one, Intro to Generative AI. This is an event organized by GDG Seattle, GDG Surrey, GDG Vancouver, and the Benelux. So it's great. We can have an online sessions and being able to collaborate across the chapters. And first, about GDG Seattle, we have been around since 2010. I have been organizing for GDG Seattle since 2015. And here are some of the photos, over the years, our DevFest over the years. I have also included the QR code here for you to follow us on LinkedIn. And we also have Inchi. Yeah, so Inchi is also one of our GG Seattle organizers. And thank you for helping Inchi. And Preeti, would
Yeah,
you like to speak about GDG Surrey?
absolutely. Thank you. I'm Preeti. I'm a developer, I'm a researcher and community leader. This is an initiative or the community I started organizing last year. It's been great, and I take pride in saying this that our first event that we started was also in collaboration with GDG Seattle, and this is the second one, and it's going to be amazing. I believe current initiatives that we have are this one, which is GenAI online series, machine learning paper reading club, machine learning paper writing club, and as the pictures so say we have been doing a couple of events and most of them have been very much focused on developers education, hands-on learning, etc. And Margaret has been part of many of our events, so that's great. And you see in the red t-shirts, that's the GDG Surrey current team, and there are more who are not in the picture, but all of us are volunteers, and it's been amazing working with everybody together. Thank you, Margaret.
Great, thank you so much, Preeti. I met Preeti last year when she first started GDG Surrey. I am very impressed at how much she and her co-organizers has grown the chapter, with the number of members and growing on Bevy, on LinkedIn followers, as well as the number of events that you have put together. It's just very impressive.
Thank you so much. Couldn't have done it without your support and other GDEs, of course. Yes.
Yeah, great. Thank you. So here's GDG Vancouver, and we have Santosh online. Santosh, would you like to say a few words about GDG Vancouver, please?
Sure. Thank you, Margaret. Hi everyone. Um, GDG Vancouver is a vibrant community. I recently joined GDG Vancouver last year, and I would say um, I've volunteered for many events, but this particular team is one of the like a passionate team I've ever seen in my life. And you could see a variety of people like here, the developers, the tech enthusiasts, the current students who are currently in the universities, as well as the graduated students. So everybody come together like to grow this community, and all the people have the passion to like contribute something to the industry which they are like have the passion, right? So, and you can follow us on the LinkedIn as well as uh, sorry for that. The volunteer interest form QR code is not seen, but I'll make sure that I'll forward that to all of you guys. And then you can follow us on the community page, which is in the second link over there. And we feel excited to co-host this event alongside with Seattle and the Surrey team. Thank you, Margaret.
Great, thank you, Santosh. We will share the slides with the attendees afterwards. We will make sure the link to the volunteer interest form is included. And I have given talks at both GDG Surrey and also GDG Vancouver. Was very impressed by both chapters, in terms of your organization and also meeting your community. And yeah, it's great to be able to collaborate. And finally, we have GDG Barnaby. We don't have a representative from this chapter today. I did include a link to Bevy and the LinkedIn. Again, we will share the slides later on. Now, talk about today's agenda. First, we're going to go over the study series overview. As you see in our event description, we have 5 sessions, right? So we will talk about, what is each session about, and also have a Cloud Skills Boost walkthrough. In Cloud Skills Boost, we'll talk a bit more later. That's where you get to study. Online on your own and together ask questions. And then for today's session, what I will do is I kind of summarize, because this is the first time you start using Cloud Skills Boost. I will briefly go over what is the first beginner intro path. What does it look like? And then after that, it will be 2 short talks, one by myself. Myself will be talking about intro to GenAI, and then PD will be talking about prompt design. In the end, we will have Q&A, but I will say throughout these sections, we probably will also pause and allow you to ask questions as well as a Q&A at the end. Okay. So now the study series overview. And I want to just give you a little bit of background on how this came about. As Preeti mentioned earlier, last year we, GDG Seattle and GDG Surrey, collaborated on a series of online study sessions for machine learning engineer certification for Google Cloud. It was like 6 sessions. We collaborated with each other, and it went really well. That format went really well. And I discussed with Pretty last year that I would be interested in running another series of online study using Cloud Skills Boost, but focusing more on generative AI. So that was one of the drives behind how this study session come about. And then another thing is that I wrote a blog post on Google Cloud Skills Boost, the 4 new generative AI learning paths, recently, a couple of months ago. Basically, Google on the Cloud Skill Boost, Google started having like one beginner Gen AI path, and then later on, Google added another advanced Gen AI path with lots of different courses. And then recently, in October, Google has reorganized these into 4 learning paths, focusing on developers, data scientists or analysts, and or the ML engineers, right? So y'all can read about my blog post to see how they're reorganizing these. And as we go through each of these sessions, we will go also more in depth of what is each path about, right? And there are 5 generative AI paths on Google Cloud Skills Boost. And basically, the first one is called Beginner Intro to GenAI. And the second one is called Generate Smart GenAI Outputs. And third one is Build and Monetize Apps with GenAI. And then the fourth one is Integrate GenAI into your data flow. So this one is really focusing on data scientists and analysts. And then the fifth one is Deploy and Manage GenAI models, focusing more on ML ops, right? Uh, you will be studying these 5 GenAI path core classes in there. However, our sessions are not limited to just these topics above. Our goal is to study GenAI, get you started with GenAI. Either if you're a beginner, you get you started, or you already have some knowledge, you want to learn a particular area, right? Or you already know GenAI, you don't know Google Cloud. So our topics are not limited to the above, and each session, the format is going to be 2 short talks, either by a Googler or by an expert from the community, plus discussion and a Q&A session. So that's going to be the kind of the format of study. Now, what is a learning path? On Cloud Skill Boost, a learning path has multiple courses, and each course has videos, recommended reading, a quiz, and hands-on labs. And you will have at least 2 weeks to work through the materials, and it's okay if you don't finish, and feel free to study ahead. And I did put this in our event description, but perhaps not all of you read it or have done so. If you haven't done so, please sign up at cloudskillsboost.google. And by RSVP to this event, you should be able to get free access for a few months, like 3 months. And if you log in to Cloud Skill Boost, you will see that the videos, like the talking about videos, like the lecture, is already accessible by default. And I see that they can you can even bring it up to like YouTube, like where you can bookmark it. However, if you want to do labs, right? Later on, we'll walk you through hands-on. You go in the lab. What a lab? The lab is basically if you're want to use Google Cloud, right? You need to pay money. You use the cloud resource, and you need to pay money for the resources you use. Cloud Scale Boost allow you to run these labs in a simulated environment as if you are in Google Cloud, but use a student ID and use username and password, and then you use that 1 credit. You can run a lab on a particular topic. And as I said, you can work on these GenAI paths before, after our session, like today's event, right? And when you sign up with Cloud Skills Boost, and make sure you use the same email that you use for the event RSVP. Yep. So, okay. And so I'm gonna just keep talking, and then I will pause for questions in a little bit. Okay. So here's the Cloud Skills Boost walkthrough. I think later on, Preeti will actually log in, and she has a like a test account. She will actually show you in there. But here I'm just showing you the screenshot, right? This is cloudskillsboost.google. This is what it looks like if you sign up, and then when you log in, and then you will see there's like these paths, and each path, for example, if there's a learning path, right, you search for GenAI, you will see there's beginner introduction to GenAI learning path, and then in that path you will see multiple courses. Okay, so I will just quickly go through what the beginner intro to GenAI learning path looks like on the Cloud Skills Boost. There are 5 courses in the learning path. For those of you who are, and like, how many of you already signed up with the Cloud Skill Boost? I'm gonna just pause a little bit. Oh, the link. Okay, so you want the link to Cloud Skill Boost? Is that
I'll
what it is?
post it.
Huh?
I'll post it.
Okay, great. Thank you. So there's not a way to raise hands or anything, I guess. Oh, okay.
Please.
Asna said that you have 9932 credits. Wow. Okay, that is a lot. Okay, right there. So there is a raise hand button. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So maybe under the Q&A. Oh, I see we have 91 people sign up. That's great. And Sergey, you requested the presenter mode. Okay. So and then it says 35 credits. I think that's fine. Okay. For those of you who are already signed up with Cloud Skill Boost, you can feel free log in and take a quick look, but don't get sidetracked into trying to watch the videos right now, right? 5 courses in the learning path, and the first one is Intro to GenAI, which is 45 minutes, and Intro to LLM 1 hour, Intro to Responsible AI 30 minutes, Prompt Design Vertex AI 3 hour 45 minutes, Responsible AI Apply AI Principle with Google Cloud 2 hours. Now, if you go to Cloud Skill Boost, that you see the 45 minutes and 1 hour and 30 minutes, hour 30 minutes, this is actually not the amount of time that you have to go watch the videos, right? Like, for example, the Intro to GenAI, perhaps the video you're watching is just 20 minutes, but aside from watching the video, they also give you recommended reading, and there could also be a quiz that you have to take, and then most of the modules would also have a hands-on lab, which is great. You know, you're watching video, reading is a great way to learn, but for me, I learn much better hands-on, right? When you run through exercises hands-on, when you have questions and you run into issues, that's how you will actually really learn the concept. So the first one, Intro to GenAI, the course is a very short course. The course will go through what is AI versus machine learning versus deep learning, and it will talk about what is GenAI, LLMs, and just a high level concept, and then the generative image models. Talk about supervised versus unsupervised learning. So that's the first class you will take in the beginner's path on Cloud Skills Boost. So I'm gonna just pause really quick, and I'm gonna ask how many of you are actually beginners? Like, how many of you like beginners in AI machine learning? Okay, good. And how many of you are like programming? Like Python is not the language you usually write code in. You write code in another language. Okay, I see a few. All right. So the second course is Intro to LLM. In this class, you will learn to define a large language model. And the class also talks about some LLM use cases. We know LLM can be used in chatbot, right? That's obvious. But there's a whole lot more LLM use cases. And it will explain the prompt tuning and then describe the GenAI development tools. And I will say, looking at the chat, a lot of you say you're a beginner to AI machine learning, you're not a Python person, etc. This beginner's path is really good for you to learn the basics, right? Of not just Gen AI, but the basics of AI and the machine learning, explain the basic concepts to you. And then the third one is Intro to Responsible AI. Here are some of the things that it will go through. I listed there, so I'm not going to read through it. And the fourth one is prompt design, and the fifth one goes back to responsible AI and how to apply AI principles with Google Cloud. All right. So I am gonna go to my short talk of Intro to Gen AI now. But before I do, are there any questions with whatever I have shared so far?
Uh,
Okay.
let me
Research.
let me
Okay.
answer these questions. Yeah, I'll send you the direct link. Just to go back to what you said, Margaret, earlier, that we intend to discuss the paths and everything about Google Cloud Skill Boost towards the end of the session, so that we can give you the live demo. How can you go and sign up? Um, so we can hold on till then, or I'm going to
I,
anyway paste the
it's
links.
it's okay. I can just show you real quick the path. This is what the beginner path looks like once you log in. And it's okay. Don't try to create an account right now. You can do this after the class, okay? This is not something you need to follow. And I'm just showing you this is the path, and here are these 5 classes. All right. And if you click on this one class, and you will go to Introduction to Gen AI. And once you go here, there's going to be a video. And then you just watch this video through. And here is the readings. Here are the readings that recommended. And then here's a quiz. Now, in this case, there's no hands-on lab. It's just a quiz. But I think there are some other ones. Like, for example, let's look at the LLM one. There's no hands-on either. Okay. Let's look at design. Okay, you see here's a lab, with that icon. When you click on the lab, you will start the lab. And then when you can start lab, it's going to prompt you for a credit. And if you got granted the access, which we need to grant you access, and then you can start the lab and then you can go on with it. Okay. So I'm going to stop this sharing now. I'm going to go on to my talk. And then Pretty can show you later on. I cannot show you the credit because I already have credits. And Pretty can show you with an account that does not have credit later. Okay. All right. So, okay. All right. I need to actually go to here. So I'm going to have a short talk about generative AI, probably for 5-10 minutes. And just a bit of is that I am an organizer for GDG Seattle. Aside from that, I'm also MLGDE, and my current focus is on 3D fashion design. I also teach part-time generative AI at University of Washington, Foster School of Business, the MSIS program. Previously, I worked on GenAI at Microsoft Design Studio and Microsoft Research, and then I also worked at Microsoft Bing before. And since quite a few of you said you are new to, GenAI, I just want to quickly go over the difference between AI, machine learning, deep learning, and generative AI. So AI is basically the bigger umbrella, and machine learning is one way to achieve kind of the intelligence of the using machine trying to simulate the human intelligence. And deep learning is a subset of machine learning, and then generative AI is kind of the part using the deep learning as a kind of a subset. And generative AI has become very popular since the last 2 years, since ChatGPT. So what is a generative AI? It's a type of AI that creates new content with generative models. And these days, a lot of these models are multimodal, meaning you can have different modality of input, a text, image, or video, audio. And these models can create text, image, and videos and audio, right? For example, Gemini. And generative models basically is these models that basically you take a machine, you observe many samples from a distribution, and then you will generate more samples from that same distribution. So it works the same way either for any kind of the modality, right? And you also hear a lot about large language models. As you study on Cloud Skills Boost, you will learn, those courses are going to learn explain to you in more in depth, right? But just high level. Today, when we talk about generative AI, everyone think of large language models. What it is, it's a neural network model that models the distribution of text on which it's trained in, and it can take an input like it's raining cats, and and then give the next word based on the what it sees in the training data. So this large language model in a way is basically kind of sophisticated autocomplete is predicted the next word in the sequence. Now for me, I think the large language model is very important, and you know GenAI becomes popular since ChatGPT in 2022, releasing 2022 or a few years ago. However, I'm more of a visual person. I worked on computer vision for quite a while, and I'm very interested in images and videos. And since the visual part is much more important for me, for what I do, in that way, then the LLM is just a way of helping with the conditioning of the visual content generation if you're more interested in the visual part. But I would say LLM is also very important today. Where people are talking about how um, LLM is not just the models; it could be like you act as like the operating system, right? So type of generative models. As I said, I worked on generative models for a while, for vision, basically Gen models started with vision, right? In 2014, the GANs paper came out. That's when these fuzzy images of people uh, can be generated through the model, and that's when we heard about GANs. And 2016 auto-regressive models, 2019 VAE, flow-based models, and then 2020 the diffusion models. So the lot of the current generative AI models for images are using the diffusion models. And then 2022 we have diffusion transformers, and so this is how diffusion models work. You basically train the model, gradually add Gaussian noise to the training data, and then learn how to reverse the process to generate images from the noise. And I also want to mention, in case I would say I mentioned the large language models, right? You can predict the text, you can write poems, and you can have chatbot, you can have conversation back and forth, etc. But whenever you think about generating images or videos, with basically image frames, then clip is very important because it's a bridge between NLP and computer vision, and then that's what it connects text and images, right? So it has a text encoder and image encoder, and it's trained on with 400 million image text pairs. And here are all of these image generating models: DALI, DALI 2, Stable Diffusion, Imagine 3. They all have to use CLIP or something similar to CLIP, the bridge language and the vision encoding. And then the diffusion transformer. Before diffusion transformer, most of the image generation models actually use a model called a UNet to generate the images. But the newer model like Pixar RA and Sora and Stable Diffusion actually use the diffusion transformers for the image generation part. And I want to include a timeline of the generative AI in vision domain. So this is, you know, what I'm most interested in is the vision part, right? So this is not the large language model timeline. This is more the vision, generative AI in vision. So we started with GANs in 2014, and then we go through the timeline, right? We have at that time, many people are very interested in GANs. There's all kind of GANs um, variations, like style GAN, big GAN, etc. And then when DALI came about, which is using the diffusion model, and later on you will see whole lot of other um, generative models in vision using diffusion model and diffusion transformer. So this timeline is from the paper called the Sora. How many people have heard of the Sora model? Yes. So Sora was announced early 2024. At that time, it was the state of the art video generation model. However, by the end of 2024, Google has announced, they released Imagine 3 in August, but they added a whole bunch of really good editing features end of 2024, and also Google announced VO and Video FX. So yes, VO is better. That is true. I have been testing VO, Video FX. So I'm an audio tester since August last year, and then also I have access to Video FX, and I tried it out. It is so much better than the other video generation models. So yeah, that is my very short intro to um, generative AI. Before I finish, I just want to ask you. So for me, my exposure or interaction with GenAI was 2017 when the Psychogan paper was written, the horse to a zebra. I don't know. I didn't show the horse to a zebra animation. That was my exposure to GenAI back in 2017. So what about you? How about the rest of you? When did you hear about Gen AI? Is it ChatGPT 2022, 2023? Yeah, 2022. Yeah, 2023. ChatGPT, exactly. Most people, I mean, before ChatGPT, we did not hear about the word Gen AI. In fact, I give a lot of talks on generative models. We talk about GANs, we talk about generative models. But since ChatGPT, DALI, yeah, the word Gen AI came about. It's kind of like the word machine learning model, a machine learning engineer. You'll never. I worked on machine learning engineer in 2016, but we did not hear about those words until 2019 or 2020. LSTM, okay. 2023 ChatGPT. Okay. Okay, great. Um, well, I am so glad all of you are here learning about GenAI and on Google Cloud. So let's see. If you want to keep in touch with me, you can feel free follow me on LinkedIn, X, Medium, and GitHub. So with that, I'm gonna stop sharing and I will let Pretty share her screen and go on from there.
Thank you.
All right, I have stopped sharing.
I hope. Yes, I think you can see my screen, right?
Yeah, I can see your screen.
Perfect. Thank you. Yes, I think I introduced myself earlier, and I'm a developer. I'm an independent researcher. I really love to work with different disciplines. Um, and yeah, my curiosity usually takes me wherever it takes me, and I love it. So that's pretty much about me. But I would love to start with what we have today to discuss about prompt design. Um, I would like to start with asking, everybody, what do you think a prompt is? If you can type in the chat. What do you guys think a prompt is? A command, a sequence of words, instructions, instructions to the machine, condition, direction, a command to do task. Right. Perfect. No, of course. All of us are right in one way or the other, and I can say that collectively, these responses are right. Prompt design is actually about just asking, in this particular case, asking AI the right way to get the best answers, right? Just like when you ask someone to help, the way you ask, can change the kind of help you get. So yes, that's what we are trying to discuss today when we talk about prompt design. So with AI, prompt design is about writing clear, specific instructions so that the AI understands what you want and gives you accurate, helpful, or creative results, right? And this is not, so we can literally relate it to, let's say I tell my friend that, okay, I need coffee. Can you bring me coffee? And the other example, the clear instruction would be that I want my coffee with two sugars with some cream, right? And that could bring me the version of coffee that I would actually want. So being very clear with the instruction, I think that's what is prompt designing here. Let's check. This is the prompt design workflow that I put together, and this is After we look at how the industry leaders define it, whether it's Google, whether it's OpenAI, and in general, as I said, this is very much like how we work with prompts in real life, how we work with instructions in real life. So by following this workflow, we are trying to ensure that our prompts are clear, they are structured, and capable of generating high quality outputs. So it's not just about getting the job done, but doing it in a way that saves us all time and produces consistent, reliable results. So for the first one, if we say how do we start, of course we want to clarify the purpose of the prompt, right? What is the task we want this AI to complete? What should be the end result look like? Say if you're designing a prompt for generating a summary, right? Or you decide whether it should be concise for professionals or engaging for a general audience. So that's what we'll start with when we say, okay, we are starting with an objective, right? And what do we want as an output? So say when we say create the prompt content structure and components, what we are talking about here is the information in the prompt. How do we organize the information in a prompt, right? So say clear instructions, we already talked about it. Now, what is the context? What are the examples, if there are any examples, right? So we structure it to make it easy for AI to process. It's after all, it's a machine, and we need to provide set of instructions, right? So again, for an example, for generating an article, we can start by including details such as topic, target audience, writing tone, right? And if we have example from other articles or our writings that we think that that can improve the output, then go ahead and of course add them to your prompt, right? We can also say, okay, we want headlines, we want bullet points, etc. Now, the the next thing will be to test this prompt, right? So we run the prompt to see how the AI responds, and we evaluate if the output matches our expectations. Similar way how I just said, if I don't like the coffee, when I give the simple instructions to my friend and he brings me the coffee and I don't like it, right? Then that was my test for the prompt, and now I can reiterate and I can refine and tell them, okay, why don't you change the coffee and make it the other way, right? So that's how we are trying to test the prompt. We ask the AI to generate a draft summary and see if it captures the key points effectively. And when I say AI, I'm specifically talking about these generating models, right? Now, next up is identify areas for improvement. Um, Now you see the output, and you can judge, you can see whether it was the desired output or not. You can add more examples now, but yes, you make the adjustments to the prompt based on the identified areas for improvement, right? You can rephrase the instructions. You want to change the structure for better results, or you want to add more examples to it. So that's up to you when you're making the adjustments. And this is not just you know this step does not really end just by doing it once. Let's say it's not one time step. You test, you refine, you repeatedly do that until you achieve your optimal results, right? So you adjust the prompt tone, you adjust the length if that's needed, even the parameters like temperature, and you define sorry yeah so that's how you go on with it. Now, I did say the parameters like temperature. So if you're using tools like ChatGPT, if you're using, Gemini on the browser, you might not really see specific option to adjust parameters like temperature. And there is a top K, there is a top P for controlling creativity and precision in AI outputs. But if you go through, let's say, Vertex AI route, there's a entire playground there, and you'll see those options there, and I'll show you how to navigate to them. But when I talk about parameters like temperature, we are saying that these are the how should I say? Okay, so if we say low temperature, that means the tasks requiring accuracy and reliability. Say, okay, Margaret, if you can help me with the temperature control. I think we are talking about the randomness or creativity of the output when we talk about the temperature. A low temperature is like following a strict recipe, while a high temperature is experimenting with ingredients. So yes, yeah, that's what temperature is about. And then there would be a top K. And when I talk about top K and top P, I would like to also say that some of the models in Vertex AI Playground, they do not use top K and top P. So you might not find them for every each and every model, um, but yeah, I'll show you when I show you the demo. So the top K parameter, it limits the number of options the model can consider for each token, or you can say most like candidate. Um, I believe this information can be overwhelming, so I'll go ahead and probably while giving the demo, I'll show you what I mean by the top K and top B. Okay, so the component of our prompt. So consider it that I want my model to write an article, right? Now, one thing I can do that I just simply say write an article about cancer, right? Um, and then that's it. That's it. So now what makes this prompt? What do you think the output of this? Thank you, Inchi. The output of just this particular prompt that write an article for me, and it's about healthcare. Oh, sorry, it's about cancer. What do you think of this prompt? Do you think it's a good prompt? Do you think it's a bad prompt? If you can all type in the chat. Too vague, too generic, needs more detail. Yes, of course. So what we are trying to say is that clearly state what you want the model to do, but also involve specificity. Oh, I always struggle with the word. Specify what you want, right? The purpose of the task. What's the desired outcome, right? So give it a context as well. So when I say, okay, write an article about cancer, what type of cancer are we talking about? Yes. Are there any examples that we can give? Are there any articles that talk about cancer, so that it builds a source for your prompt, right? It builds a source. It consider that I'm writing an article. As a human, we are writing articles. We also need some sources, some more examples to refer to. So that's what we're talking about. That define the task, contextual information, include few short examples. Of course, you can give a variety of examples and system instructions. Now, I said write something about healthcare, and the second prompt can be a good prompt can be write a 300-word informative article for a health magazine, explaining the importance of preventive healthcare for senior citizens. That makes this prompt more focused rather than vague. Right now, the context, we can provide background information. We can provide the data the model needs to refer to it when completing the task. It basically also keeps you um, when it has reliable resources, then the information can be more reliable as well. When you give the contextual information, and when you specify systems, when you specify in the instruction of the system, you can also rely on the information to some extent, because it's not just bringing the information from somewhere you don't even know. So it gives you the ground resources and back, and there are more chances that it will be accurate. Yeah. Then there are system instructions. How many of you know how do we use these system instructions? Well, um, okay. Um, think of it. It kind of provides a framework for models' behavior, and it makes the responses more consistent and aligned with the task requirement. Then, so without the I'm giving an example. Without the system instruction, I can say, okay, write a blog post about climate change, right? And then with the system instructions, I can say you are an environmental journalist. You're writing for a general audience. Your tone is informative, engaging, and you avoid technical jargons, right? And then I give my prompt to write a blog post about how climate change affects agriculture in developing countries. Now there is a kind of a persona I built around this prompt, right? So it knows how should it behave now, right? I can tell it that you are a journalist, and this is the kind of output we are expecting. um, we can always give, yeah, we can always give it a persona. Just um, think it that way. And why is it better? Because by assigning the role of an of whatever your prompt requires, by assigning that role, the response is kind of tailored to the audience and the purpose. um, right. So sorry. So somebody mentioned in the chat, um, yes, Armin, at the beginning or at the model define, yeah. So common things. First of all, we also don't give time to our model to think. Um, that's important. But yes, vague instructions, mistypes, not providing. Yes, you know what? I jumped into this slide. Let me ask you, and please type in the chat if possible. What do you think about the most common pitfalls for a prompt? What makes a prompt a bad prompt other than vague instructions? At the beginning, not enough background, too broad role, too vague, prompt without specific context. Yeah, we don't specify the source for information if it's not specific. Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Yanchi. And thank you, everybody. Yes, you're right. Um, I mean, I literally give you this example, and this is funny enough. Um, if I'm going, so my partner told me to bring his backpack from our office room, and we are a family of four, and we all have backpacks. And funny enough, they all look same because we bought it, like, the same brand. We bought them from Costco, so they all look same, and we keep changing them. So he told me to bring a bag, right, from the room. Now I go there and I see many bags, and I don't really know which one to pick from, right? And I come back to him, I bring all four of them. And then he tells me that the one that he wanted had a specific tag on it, right? Now that makes it a little easier for me to understand that which bag did it ask me to bring. That's very simple example, and it when the simplest things as humans, when we experience, despite the fact that we are highly intelligent being, still we can do mistakes. So then this is a machine. It can do mistakes too, right? I was reading an article which says, stop comparing these models to humans. They are still machines, but I'll share it sometimes. So yes, as you all said, poorly structured prompts, not giving enough context, not assigning a role or persona, not breaking down complex tasks. That's another thing. If you give a complex task to these models, right? um, they, they might not perform very well. Okay, they might get confused. They might not break down the tasks as accurate as you would want them to break them down, right? So it's always a good idea if you can break down the complex task to some extent and then provide them. So it's more of more on the modularity side then. They're okay. You also broke down you at least gave them the structure, and then from there they pick the tasks one by one. It makes easier as a prompt. Output format. Um, Now I believe sorry, some of them, like Margaret was mentioning, there are videos as well as output. There are images as well as output, and text. It all started with the text earlier. So specify what kind of output format do you want, and try and test and iterate, So experiment with them. Okay. We'll talk about the parameters once I show you how it works. Okay, I believe we already touched on these points. That, okay, you need to structure it, you need to keep experimenting, you need to tailor your task type and consider models limitations. Of course, there are tokens that should be in the consideration, token length, etc. Then there comes the models which will just accept the images or not text. So all of that comes in the limitations, and other parameters. Okay, any questions so far, or shall we jump into the demo? Perfect. Let me. I'll stop sharing this screen and I'll start sharing the other one. I hope you can see my screen here. So I am in Google Skills Cloud Skills Boost, and I'll be demoing the labs from the prompt design course. Okay, and I'll take the fourth one that has okay. Right. Somebody asked me a question about creating the account, or how do you just, if you can just sign in with Google. If I just sign in with Google, okay, it will, if you have already, okay, this is happening because I had an account in the past and I deleted it. Just allow me 1 minute. It should let me sign in. Oops. For whatever reasons, it's suspended my account. Margaret, I guess the demo account is no more there, so I'll have to go through a different profile. Is that okay?
Yes, sure.
Right. But yeah, for people who are looking to join, it does give you option to create account, and you create an account, and that's all. You'll receive an email. I believe it will ask you to verify, and that's it. You're all set to be in this profile. Okay, sorry about that.
Um, Sorry, Pretty, what are you trying to do?
I'm trying to share the screen, but with a different account.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, because this one is suspended.
So there's a question asking if there's a timer, if there's a time limit. Yes, if you run out of the time limit. So don't start the lab and then go cook in your kitchen and come back 2 hours later. Um, like you start a lab, you should just sit in front of your computer and try finishing it. Typically, the timer is more than enough time for you to finish if you sit there and work on it. But you cannot start the lab and then go off of your desk and go do something else.
Right. So just to give you all an idea, this is how the dashboard for Google Cloud Skill Boost would look like. You'll see the parts that you started here, but if you're new to the platform, you might not see any parts here. So the best way is that you go to Explore, and you can choose the format, your language of your choice, and what kind of badge do you want. But for our sessions here, we recommend you to go to Path, and let's see. Okay, you can simply, while we are providing the links for these parts, but you can simply go to generative AI, and you see there are these parts. And the demo that we are going to do right now is from Introduction to Generative AI Learning Path for Beginners. And we will go through one of the labs here. I have already completed it, so it shows that. And you receive the certificates like this, the badges like this. You can always track your badges here. I have a lot because I come here, and other than these courses, while they're designed to to give you a hands-on learning on the Google Cloud platform as well, but at the same time, they first of all they go over the concepts. So it's always a great idea, if you want to go through a path, learn something, and then you also want your hands-on labs on Google Cloud. Okay, and then some of you will see credits here. Some of you would not, but don't worry about it. The credits will be used to launch the labs. As Margaret earlier mentioned, labs usually require credits, and one credit is equivalent to $1 that I recall I learned last time. So this is to make it all free for you, so that you can you can get your hands dirty with the labs. Okay, so this has prompt design in Vertex AI. This has 4 labs, but let's just look at how the prompt design work. With the timer, somebody asked. So yes, there is a timer, and you have to complete it within that time limit. Okay. So the best practice is usually to open a incognito mode, but I'll just go ahead. I don't think I'm sharing my screen. Oh, yes, I am. Okay. Because we are over time, so I'll try to make it quick, and otherwise all the instructions are already given in the lab, so I'll try to make it quick for everybody. So now you are in the platform. For Vertex AI, you can always go to Vertex AI here, and you can start with freeform, chat, vision, depending on what you're trying to experiment with. Let's go to freeform and let's just rename it to, I'll just say session 1. Okay. Now you see there are options for you to add system instructions. This is where your prompt goes. If you are adding images or any other media, you can always go through this. Examples, if you're using ChatGPT or Gemini on browser, they don't give you specific options to add examples or add variables, but you can always say that this is an example, and the model will understand. Now next, this by default takes you to the experimental model, but you can choose the model of your choice, and you can always customize it, whether you want to bring the sources from Google search. And this is the temperature I was talking about. This is about the randomness. So let's say something. Let's say and let's just this. Right? And this brings you the sources. You see the references here, the citation. This brings you with the sources, but let's make it a little better. And let's say RSQL. Let's remove this and let's add a little more of the temperature. Okay. And let's see what it does. It kind of gives the clean structure, if you see. So well, it depends on people's use case and what your desired output is. But for some people, this would be a cleaner output, and for some people, they might just want to go back to the previous one, which was simpler and had ground resources. They will want to go back to that and work on that. And now in this case, when you go through Vertex AI, you have these kind of formats, but in general, you can ask ChatGPT or Gemini to give you an output as an image or text, or in the CSV format, downloadable PDF format, and others. Now this advanced option has a couple of parameters here that you can work with, but these are not available for all the models. That's something to consider. And with this, I believe I'll I haven't shown any instructions. Expert. Well, I don't have an instruction on top of my mind. Let me see. I mean, I can just, yeah, I believe you get the idea. This is what we can do with this, but as we are almost at time, actually we are over time, I would rather take questions, and if needed, I'll show you the prompt. Do we have any questions? not, um, not, then we can always connect here, and I'll be happy to answer your questions. Where can I find the recording? Recordings are, we update. Margaret, let me
Oh,
know.
so yeah, sorry, I was speaking. I was on mute. Um, oh, I just want to mention that what Pretty showed you earlier in Vertex AI, that part is more for like prototyping as a developer, but you still have a UI to prototype to play with the model, right? But it's different play with the model as a developer versus when you use a consumer product like a Gemini chat app or ChatGPT chat app in the browser or on your phone. You have some in some places you have some control of some additional parameters. And somebody said, how could we get free credit for skills boost? As I said earlier, that um, you will get a skill boost, cloud skill boost by RSVP to this event.
Mm,
Oh, yes, we will share the volunteer registration link. Santashi, if you have the link, you just feel free to post it in the chat. But we will make sure to include that link in the slides so that when we share the slides with those who missed the session, they can also get those information. But Santashi, you can feel free also share the uh, and LinkedIn QR code. Kevin, are you talking about me or who? Who are you talking about? Or GDG Seattle or everyone? Yeah, we will share the slides. How do you verify you're using the lab credential for Senior? So when you log in to GCP, you should see your uh, login is not your email; it's a student email. I'm pretty if you have the Vertex AI, you can show them that screen
how
to see who the user is.
you're using the lab credential versus your own cloud credential. I see. Um, yes, I can share a different screen. Allow me a minute. Sorry, I hope you see my screen, right? So usually if you see the credits here, um, I mean, actually no, you'll see that you have been added in some kind of um, ecosystem. I'm an administrator, so I see that it's you know what, I'm confusing you. Let me share a different screen. Um,
Just share the Vertex AI screen.
there, this is a different account. So in this one, if you see, I'm a member of one of the communities here. Ideally, it should show you that you're the member, and when you like these labs will be free for you. They would not prompt you for your like to add your credit cards or anything. They should simply launch the labs for you. If they're asking you for some kind of payment, that means that they might just either the email address was not right. I mean, that's the only reason that it would ask you for your card or your payment or the payment. So yeah,
Uh,
it should just
so
launch.
so pretty. I think this is different. Do you have a screen of your Vertex AI Google Cloud, not the skills boost? Can you show a screen of the Vertex AI Cloud dot
Yeah,
Google dot? Can you show that screen? Because when you launch a lab, you will see your login. It's not your email. It's your student ID.
I see. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, that was the question. They said, "How do I know if I type in the chat? I say make sure you're logging as a student ID. Otherwise, you're consuming your own cloud credit." Some
Yeah.
people, if you're new, you don't even have a Google Cloud account. You don't have to worry about it. But some of you do have a Google Cloud account. You do not want to use that to do the exercise, right? So over here, you will see Pretty is showing you it's a student ID, not your own email. Then you know you're using the lab. Okay, I think we answered the question.
How do
Thank
you
you.
how do you become a member? Because when I made the account recently, it doesn't show that. Um, um, well, okay, Margaret, I believe. So anyone here who received from Google Skill Cloud Boost, who received an email that they have been added to the some kind of ecosystem. You did, right. So usually you receive an email, and then then you go ahead and just launch this Google's Skill Cloud Boost through the link given in the email. But if you're not, yes, a credit sharing group. But if you're not added in that, then Margaret will have to do it manually, and then they'll receive an email.
Yeah, so basically, when you RSVP to the event, you are automatically added to the sharing group. However, there's a cutoff on the when you RSVP. So if you RSVP today or later, you may not have been added automatically. You will be added manually. So give us a day or two. Uh, Pretty, can you go back to the slides, please?
Right.
Go back to the slides, the Discord.
Let me do that.
Yeah, so we are out of time, and I know there's still more questions, and Pretty will share with you here's the QR code. Please join the GDG survey Discord server and post your questions there. For example, you didn't get access, or you still have questions about the materials that we went over today, or you run into questions while going through the Cloud Skills Boost, and just please post your question there. We will post the slides. We will share the slides with everyone. We'll try to either post it to the event, or we will just send it as attachment to the Discord server. Um,
Right.
yeah, that is right. It's better to run the lab in incognito mode so it doesn't get into your personal account. You do not need to join Google Cloud to study in order to study, because the whole point of the Cloud Skills Boost is that you actually start the lab inside of the Cloud Skills Boost uh, lab, and then you over there it look like you're logging into Google Cloud, but you actually log into the simulated environment as part of the lab with the lab student ID and password. So you do not need to sign up, join for Google Cloud in order to study. But if you are interested in using Google Cloud for real, sure, you can go to Google Cloud. Um, but we're not asking you to go to cloud.google.com to sign up in order to study. Okay. Are there any other questions?
Uh, let me know. Let me know in the GTG Surrey, this Discord group. If you have any difficulties, or if you need help with some concepts that you want to be answered, we would love to answer them for you.
Yeah, great. If you could go to the next slides, please. Yeah, so we hope that you have fun studying, and please join Discord as showing before. And I think we will probably update our event description. I think we can still update our event description, right? With the link to the Discord, because otherwise people who did not join or they did not get the slide, they don't know how to join. And then get access to Cloud Skills Boost credit access. You should already automatically have it. If not, give us a day or two to add you manually and work on the beginner GenAI path on the online for the next 2 weeks. And if you're done, you can get started on the second GenAI path. And then we will see you in the next session in 2 weeks. Then we will dive deeper into generative AI. Oh yeah, that's a good point. Let's just send the Discord link in this chat because, I think for those who already joined, I think they should get the link right away. That's a good point.
Yes.
Thank you.
And everybody can join the hashtag GenAI GCP for questions. There is a question. There's a question. Okay, this is off topic, but do any of you have any recommendations for behavior recognition, tech stacks, or courses?
I don't understand the question.
I believe it's about if we know any tech stacks or courses related to behavior recognition.
What's behavior recognition?
Yes, I think
Don't quite understand.
Yeah, sorry, I don't think we have.
Are you talking about activity, emotions, or I do not quite understand. So please post your questions to Discord. We have to close now. We are 22 minutes late, and just post your questions. Thank you all, and see you in 2 weeks. Bye.
See you. Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thanks for attending. It's great to see all of you here.